Hey guys, what's going on? Tackle Junkie 81 here for Mystery Tackle Box, and today I'm going to show you guys a few quick maintenance tips to keep your reels running nice and smooth. Now, if you guys are familiar with my channel, you've seen in the past I've done some really in-depth reel cleaning videos. Some of my more popular videos, you guys really seem to love those videos. But some of the feedback that I've gotten on those videos is for the beginner, they can be a bit overwhelming, especially when you start taking the reel completely apart and removing the handle side cover. You guys do seem to get a bit overwhelmed. So in this video, we're going to keep it pretty simple, mainly focus on the spool bearings and a few other things that you can do to keep the reel feeling nice and smooth. Now for this process, I did pick up this kit from Karl's, which we'll link down below. I also picked up this Ardent Reel Butter bearing lube. But the kit comes with everything you're going to need. Comes with a little rag here. You got a toothbrush to clean your reel up. We got some grease, some oil. We got the Ardent Reel Clean Cleaner, which I've used this in my videos in the past. Really like this stuff. Little screwdriver. And it comes with these little Ardent swabs as well, which you can see here. I have a couple bottles of. I'm a huge fan of those. They don't leave any lint behind like cotton. They're like a synthetic type deal here. Really do like these. So comes with everything you're going to need. Let's jump right into it. Alright guys, we're going to start with removing the side cover here. Now every reel's different. Some may have a rod that's across here, the spring loaded. You'll have to pull the end of the rod there to release the side cover. Some of you may have to unscrew. This particular reel, you just push down, it'll pop off. Okay? Now inside the side cover here, you want to clean this ring here. That's where the brake pads rub, as well as inside the bearing there's a little washer. So get yourself your Ardent swab here, spray some Ardent Reel Clean on there, wipe that ring, just remove all that dirt. See how dirty that is. Then inside that bearing again there's a washer. Just going to stick that in there and clean that washer. That's where the spool shaft will rub on. When you put tension from the tension knob, it's actually pressing on that washer in there. So clean that up. Again, clean that ring there. Set that aside. Now, get out your spool. I like to wipe off the brake pads here. Now some you'll have to push in and out to be able to see them. Here, they're right along the edge of the spool here. Go ahead and wipe those off. Okay. Move on to the other side. See all that grease and everything all over that shaft? You want the shaft dry. That oil will create drag. Get your rag there. Get all that grease. You guys can see that. Get all that grease off that shaft. Go ahead and wipe down your spool while you're at it. Get that clean. You can use an Ardent swab as well. Getting all the little crevices and all that. Right above that spool pin. Alright, nice and clean. Set that aside. Now, move on to the tension knob over here. Unscrew that. Underneath that, you'll either have a bearing or a bushing. Get yourself an Ardent swab again. We'll get a clean one here. Spray some Reel Clean on there. Go ahead and wipe inside there, in and around the bearing of the bushing. Get it all cleaned up. Okay, set that aside. Inside the tension knob, there's another one of those washers. Go ahead and clean that up as well. Okay, set that aside. Now you can also, anywhere the spool is going to rub, take your Ardent swab. Inside here, along the frame, and up in here, go ahead and wipe that as well. Get that all nice and clean. Again, that's where the spool is going to rub. Okay, nice and clean. I'll also clean out the line guide here. Again, take your Ardent swab, shove that in there. Sometimes they'll get caked up with stuff that you're bringing in off the water. Clean that up, as well as the rod that it rides on. Okay. A lot of grass and things like that will get caught up in there. Clean that up the best you can. Okay, get your rag. Now while you're right here, you can look at your gear right here to see if it needs grease. I'm pretty good here, but when I do grease that gear, okay, I like to actually take the reel completely apart, soak the gear, clean it up, and then grease it. So I won't add a different grease on top of the grease that the reel came with stock. I don't feel that they bond good together. So if you do need to grease that, you go ahead and spray some Ardent Reel Cleaner on there, get it all off there, and then re-lube it. But again, I like to take the reel completely apart, take the gear out, clean it up right, put it back together, then grease it that way. But again, just look at that gear, see if it needs grease. If it does, add it. I know some guys add oil to that. You should not add oil. You need grease on gears, oil on bearings. So anyways, we're all cleaned up here. Now let's go ahead and start with the side cover again. Now what I like to do is get your oil, get a clean Ardent swab here. Okay, put a drop or so on there. Okay, and I'll run that around that ring there. Okay, so light coating of oil around that ring. Get your oil. I'll put just a drop of oil inside the bearing there to oil up that washer. I'm not putting this on the bearing. I'm going inside the bearing there to lube that washer up. Just a small little drop. Okay. From there, get your bearing lube. Now this here is supposed to, I've never used this stuff before, first time using it. It's supposed to flush out the bearing as well as lube it up. Now you can always spray Ardent Reel Clean on that bearing, let it soak, it'll evaporate in 5 minutes. Again, normally I take the bearings completely out, soak them and all that. Again, this is just for the beginner, just something quick and easy you can do to keep your reel running smooth. You can spray them up, like I said, let them evaporate after 5 minutes, or you can go ahead and try out this Ardent Reel Butter bearing lube. It's supposed to work well, great reviews, but let's see how it works. Of course, you need to take the cap off. And then one drop is all you need on the bearing. Okay, now that's good to go. Set that aside. Move on to the spool here. Again, I like to keep the shaft dry. One drop here on the spool bearing. Good to go there. Okay, set that aside. Go ahead and put one drop of oil in the bearing that was underneath the tension knob. And you're good there. Now this is the bearing lube. Okay. Now, get your spool. You can put that back in. Okay. Now, the shaft of the spool, what I like to do is get a little dab of grease on either end. A very little dab, that's all you need, a small little dab. Okay, there. And on the other side as well. Okay. You can put this side cover back on. Now, we're going to oil that washer underneath the tension knob. One little drop. Put your tension knob back on. Okay. A couple of things that you can do. Get your oil. Put a drop of oil on the knobs there. One drop there. And one drop there. And also, I had you guys clean up the rod there that the line guide runs on. Put a drop of oil on that as well. Okay. Guys, with those tips, that'll keep your reel running nice and smooth. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, smash the thumbs up. Thanks for watching. We will talk to you soon.